Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. My name's Sarah. Today's 25-minute Pilates workout will be done with a stick. This is literally just a broom handle in my case, so you may or may not have one. If you do, it is really good fun. We're going to be starting in a standing position and just make sure you've got plenty of room around you to be able to move the stick without hitting anything. I hope you enjoy. We're going to start standing, so if you take yourself to the end of your mat, just have your feet about hip width apart, keep your knees nice and soft. In terms of holding onto the stick, just hold it with your hands about shoulder width apart. Let's lengthen through the spine, chin level with the floor, crown of the head towards the ceiling. So we're finding our neutral posture. Take a nice big deep breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, draw your navel in towards the spine. Let's have the core engaged, and then just bring the stick up by your chest. Reach up towards the sky with the stick, keeping the rib cage relaxed. Bring it down, we're going to do that again. Try not to flare the rib cage. And then the next time we take our arms up, we're just going to hold them there and turn this into the roll down. So breathing in first, exhale, engage your core, nod your chin, roll the shoulders forward and peel the spine coming down towards the floor, allowing the arms and the head to hang loose. And then we gently roll back up to that lovely tall neutral position. You can do this with the knees slightly bent as I'm demonstrating here. It allows you to come down towards the floor just a little bit easier. And then you're rolling back up with the knees bent as well, restacking the spine. We're going to do that one more time. Big breath in. Exhale, gently nod the chin, round the upper back, unpeel the spine, and just hang loosely like a rag doll with the arms and the neck. We're slowly coming up, restacking the spine, arms nice and tall. Lovely. Now just part your feet, go towards the edges of your mat, so you want your feet about shoulder width. You want your hands to be a similar width apart as well. And we're just gently turning the rib cage from side to side on an out breath, keeping the pelvis facing forward, nose and chin in line with the breastbone. It's just a little bit of rotation of the mid to upper back or the thoracic region of the spine. Keep the shoulders back and down and away from your ears. This will be the last one. Let's turn this into the swan dive. So relax your arms down. We're going to hinge at the hips or reach forward and up with the stick so your spine is level with the floor. To come up, you tuck your tailbone under, draw the navel in, roll up through the spine, and bring your arms up nice and tall. We're going again. Bring the stick down as you breathe in, hinge forward at the hips, reach up with the stick, and then exhale, tuck your tailbone under, draw the navel in, restack the spine, and bring your arms up nice and tall. We've got one more. Breathing in. Let's bring that stick down. We're sending it forward and up. Spine level with the floor. Relax your arms as you tuck your tailbone under and roll back up to that tall standing position. Fabulous. Now we're going to come to the center of our mat. See if you can keep your arms raised. You want nice wide feet. Okay, a big gap between the feet. Take your hands towards the end of the stick and bend your left knee. We're side bending over to the left. Send the stick through the gap between the knees. Twist over to the right and come back up. So we've got the full body circle here. Okay, so this again is a hinge at the hips as you come forward and round. So try not to flex the spine here. The only flexion is as you side bend. So as we're going over to our left, it's the right hand side of the body, you'll feel the stretch. And you're just bending the knee that you're going towards. The other leg should be lengthened out. Really nice movement there. Let's just make that the last one before we change direction. So bending the right knee, we side bend right, twist around to the left and back up. So the right hand's going through the gap between the knees, and then you're sending it over to the left, around and back up. It does take a bit of getting used to, but once you get it, it's a really nice stretchy warm-up exercise. Exhale around and down. Inhale to come up. Beautiful. Let's just make that the last one then. You can bring your hands in a little bit to about shoulder width apart, but keep the gap as it is between the feet. And then we're just going to come down with the stick. So hold it out in front of you. And we're just going to lower the tailbone and bring ourselves into a wide leg squat. As we do this, try not to lock the knees out as you come up, but let's polish it up. Make sure that you're pushing through the heels as you come up from the squat. You're keeping your spine lengthened. Let's help by lifting the stick up as we come down into the squat. Watch your pelvis. Make sure that you're not tucking the tailbone under or lifting it up as you come down. You're trying to maintain neutral. Really working the back of the legs and getting into the glutes and the calves. A little bit of coordination here as well. Okay, now you can see here that I'm starting to just change what I'm doing with the stick. So as you come up from your squat, take the stick behind your head, raise it up as you come down, and then as you come up again, you're taking the stick in front of your head. Okay, again, a little bit of coordination, a bit of concentration and control. Good, we're just going to bring the stick back out in front of us, hold it there and pulse, just lowering the tailbone. Pulse, 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 pushing through those heels, breathe, reach up, lovely. Just relax your arms, give the shoulders a roll. You're going to keep your feet where they are, but pop the stick down in front of you vertically. Okay, just relax your left hand on the top of it. Slowly come down into your squat position. If you need to readjust yourself, you can, so you're not too close to the stick, because the stick wants to stay vertical, as does your spine. So make sure your heels are down. Take your right arm out to the side, and as you breathe out, engage the core and start to side bend over to the left. Keep your chest facing forward. Lovely, keep the stick absolutely still. Fantastic, so you'll feel that stretch around the right side of the body in towards the hip. But of course, we're really working the legs here. You'll start to feel it around the quads and the back of the legs and into the glutes. Let's add another little movement. As you can see, after I've done the side bend, taking the arm back out and tapping the inside of the left knee. Exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Good, so always exhaling on exertion, so the hardest part of each exercise. If you do need to rest here, it is fine. This is quite a challenging exercise. Well done. Let's swap sides. Left arm out, up and over with the arm. So side bends first. Well done. Keep the tailbone nice and low. Make sure the pelvis remains neutral, so you're not tucking the tailbone under or lifting it up. You've got your core engaged. We're going to start to add the inside of the knee tap then. So just gently tapping the inside of the right knee, arm back out to the side, and then we're back to those side bends as well. So both movements. We're really working the core. You'll feel it around the waist as well. Lovely. Again, if you're still going, well done. If you needed to rest, that's fine too. Almost there. Fabulous. And then we're going to make this the last tap. Wonderful. Let's come up. You can keep your feet where they are, but move the stick towards the left foot now and hold it with the left hand. This exercise is called the lever. Let's just bend the right knee and then send the right arm behind your back. Now you're going to keep your spine lengthened for this one. Just gently turn the breastbone towards the right knee. You'll see the stick wants to come with you, and then you can lower it down towards the floor by really leaning into that right knee. Okay, so we're not flexing the spine at all. We're keeping as lengthened through as we can. So when you come down, keep your breastbone up and just try and relax the left leg. Really use the strength of the right leg to help you. And if you're not already, you will soon be starting to feel this around the back of the leg and into the glutes on that right side. Well done, nice smooth movement. You don't even have to touch the floor with the stick, just go as close to it as you can. Fab. All right, swap sides. So over to the right with the stick, left hand behind the back, left knee bent, and then keeping the spine lengthened, just gently turn to the left and allow the stick to go towards the floor, really leaning into that left knee. Very good functional exercise this, showing you how to use the strength of your legs so you can protect your lower back as you're moving and avoid pulling any muscles. Exhale down, inhale up. Remember, just keep the right leg lengthened, try not to bend the knee, just keep that leg relaxed and breathe. Really feeling that now down the back of the left leg into the glutes. Fabulous. And we're coming back to standing. Let's bring the feet together, give the hips some relief just by lifting them out to the sides and round. Lovely. Okay, we're going to go to one end of our mat, feet hip width apart. We're going to reach the stick up towards the ceiling, ready to roll down. So take a nice breath in. Exhale to engage your core. Nod the chin to the chest, roll the shoulders forward, unpeel the spine. Just while you're there, pop the stick down on the centre of the mat lengthways, then walk forward into all fours, straddling the stick. So you've got hands under shoulders, knees under hips, a nice lengthened spine, and your head is in line with your spine. Now lengthen the right leg behind you, point the toes, and just start to raise the leg up and tap the toes back down, all the while keeping your pelvis absolutely still by drawing the navel up towards the spine and keeping it there so your core is engaged. We exhale on the lift, inhale to lower the toes. Okay, let's add some rainbow movements here. This is rainbow toes, so all you're doing is raising the leg up and rainbowing over the left foot, tapping the toes down on the floor next to the foot. Nice smooth movement. Try not to drop your rib cage. Keep everything nice and strong around the shoulders. And try not to tip over to the left there. Make sure your chest and pelvis stay square with the mat. Just bring the knee back. We're going to go and do the same on the other side, lengthening out the left leg behind you. Just start with your leg raises again. You can take the leg as high as you like, as long as the pelvis stays still. It's the squeeze around the glutes and the back of the leg we're looking for. And again, we can start to add those rainbow movements on this next one. So up and over. So just tapping the floor on the outside of the right foot, all the while keeping the spine still, keeping your back still so your chest and your pelvis are facing the ground. And we've got body weight in the left arm here as well, not just mostly on the right. Good, remember to breathe. Well, lovely. And then we're just going to make this one the last one. Right here, you can bring the knee back. Well done. Now just tuck your tailbone under slightly and sit back on your heels into a shell stretch. You can move the stick now. Reach your arms forward. And then if you want to give your hips a sway to side as well, you can. It just gives you that extra bit of a stretch around the hips and glutes. Now we're going to come down into a prone position next. So carefully come down onto your tummies. Take the stick and just pop it at the top of your mat on the floor, so off the mat there. Come up onto your elbows so they're underneath your shoulders. You're just resting your fingers on the stick. Take your feet towards the corners of the mat and lift your tummy button. You're also going to press your elbows down so you're squaring up your shoulders so the shoulders are not near your ears. Back extensions. All we're doing here is as you breathe in, gently press the heel of your hand in towards the floor. That will lift your elbows and send your spine into extension. If there is any pinching or pain in the lower back, you mustn't do it, and we must go slowly and controlled. When you come down, as soon as your elbows touch the floor, just stop. Don't allow the rib cage to sink down because it makes your shoulders hunch up by your ears. You want to stay nice and strong around the scapular region, and you'll feel this around the back of your arms, and also maybe into the chest a little bit too. But it's building flexibility of the spine as well as strengthening the arms and shoulders. Now, just relax everything down with your chest. Send the stick forward so you're extending your arms out in front of you, but then widening out the hands on the stick. Keep the tummy button lifted. We're going to do the rolling pin exercise. So as you breathe in, very gently press your hands into the stick, but lift your breastbone. This will again send you into spinal extension, and you exhale to roll the stick back away from you. So that lowers the chest back down. Go slowly, don't jerk the body up. Always maintain control whenever you're doing any exercise, but especially back extensions. Really look after that lower back. Keep the tummy button lifted. So in other words, your core is engaged. And you don't need to force the movement at all. You're just going in a natural range of movement. But this is working your arms, your shoulders and your chest, again, as well as building spinal flexibility. Let's make that the last one. Keep your chest nice and low. Take hold of the stick. You want your hands to be wider than your shoulders. You need to have your head in line with your spine, but don't put your face on the floor. Do look at the ground. And now lift the stick and see if you can take it behind your head, bending your elbows. Then reach forward and down. So the head and the rib cage stay still here. If this is a bit difficult, try and widen out your hands on the stick a little bit more. Keep this going, but start to bend alternate knees, keeping the toes pointed. Try and point the tailbone towards the end of your mat. It will help you to engage your core and maintain a neutral pelvis, so you protect your lower back as you do this. We're just going to do a couple more here before we relax it down. So last one here. And then just gently pop the stick down. Relax the shoulders. Now just pop your hands underneath your shoulders, bring your knees and feet a bit closer in, and very gently press down into the floor with your hands and start to come up slowly into all fours. We'll sit back in a shell stretch here, so tuck your tailbone under, gently sit back towards the heels, and stretch out the lower back in the shell stretch. Good. Now we're going to be coming into a seated position next. So come to the center of your mat, and if you take hold of your stick, let's have the legs out in front of us. Try and sit nice and tall, lengthen through the spine, have the shoulders above the hips, and then we're just going to widen out the legs into a V shape. Okay, flex your ankles, lift your breastbone, crown of the head towards the ceiling, and if you pop your hands on either end of the stick and try and reach the stick up above your head, the next time you breathe out, turn to your right. Okay, and face forward, then turn to the left. So we're going to exhale on the turn, inhale to face forward, keeping the core engaged. On the turn, start to pulse twice, so 2 little out breaths. Breathe in as you face forward and turn and do the same thing on the other side. Just a couple of things here. If this is really uncomfortable for you around the hips, just sit on a cushion or a Pilates block if you've got one. You want to be as tall and upright with the spine as possible. And if you have shoulder issues, you can lower the stick down, of course, but ideally you want it above your head if you can. Now, keeping the legs as they are, all we're doing now is taking either end of the stick to the same side foot. So exhale on the tilt, keeping the spine as lengthened through as you can when you come back through center. Taking that lovely in-breath as you reset the spine. Exhale as you tilt. Trying to just touch one of the toes or the ankle, just feeling that stretch around the outside of the body. As always, keeping the core engaged throughout so you have that control and protection of the lower back as you're moving. Lovely. Let's come back to center. Relax your arms and shoulders, give those a little roll if you need to, and then if you just bring the legs towards each other, pop your feet down. You've got the legs in a crook position now, so knees and feet hip width apart. Let's hold the stick out in front of us, hands about shoulder width apart. We're sitting up nice and tall, crown of the head towards the ceiling. Let's take a nice breath in. Exhale, engage your core, and very gently start to lower the rib cage as you lean back with the shoulders, and stop as soon as the stick is above your knees. Then breathe in to come back to seated tall, so we're back on the sit bones. We're just going to keep repeating this movement. Very gently going into flexion and then extension. Exhale back. Inhale, seated tall. Keeping the shoulders away from your ears. You can bring the stick into play as I'm doing here, just very gently raising the stick up towards the ceiling as we come back to seated tall. If you do need to widen out your hands on the stick, of course you can. That does allow you a little bit more freedom around the shoulders to reach up a bit higher. But never force the body, just go with what feels right for you. This is mostly about core connection. So let's hold that there. Draw the navel in and up. Take the stick towards the floor on the left, take it round and back up. Do the same on the right. So a bit like rowing, we've got these figure of 8 movements. Make sure the navel is in and up towards the rib cage. But we can start to come up to seated tall and alternate between the flexion and extension of the spine as we do this. So really play with this movement. Try and make sure you keep your feet down. And as always, use your tummy muscles, use your core to control these movements. Lovely. Remember to breathe. And then we're going to reach up on an in-breath. Ready to roll down to supine. So slowly down into a full body stretch. Lovely. Let's flex those ankles, stretch the back of the legs. It's always nice to stretch your calf muscles. And then pop the feet on the floor. So knees and feet hip width apart. Relax your pelvis. Bring your elbows down so you're just holding the stick above your tummy. This next exercise is about pelvic stability, and we're going to use our core strength to help us. So the next time you breathe out, engage the core. Then lift the legs into tabletop. We're going to use the stick to help us here. So raise your arms up and then lower the stick down so you're pushing your knees away from you. So that's definitely your knees above your hips, shins level with the floor. Keep your pelvis still by drawing the navel in. Now you're going to take the left toes down to the floor and hold it there, and then bring the knee back. Now you're going to do the same on the right. So down and pause, bring the knee back. Keep this going, alternating legs. If you feel your pelvis is tipping forward, press the lower back gently towards the floor. This is called imprinting. You'll feel your core muscles tighten so you can really keep your pelvis nice and still. Protect your lower back. This movement's coming from the hip, so you keep the knee at a 90-degree angle. There's a progression, so when you tap your toes down, reach the stick overhead. As you bring the knee back, touch the stick. But keep the knees above the hips. Lots of precision here, coordination and concentration. The next progression, if you want to take part, is to lengthen out the leg and float it. So instead of tapping the toes down, you lengthen out the leg, go as close to the floor as you can without touching it. And this really does work your core muscles. You'll definitely feel it around the front of your body and also getting into your hip flexors. Do remember to breathe. Exhale to reach back. Inhale to return the knee. Well done. Keep the pelvis still. Just a couple more. And relax. Give those knees a squeeze. Circle them around. Pop the feet back down and bring the legs into a crook position and reach up with the stick. You're just going to lengthen out your right leg, point the toes, hold the stick nice and still and draw the right leg towards the stick. Now, if you feel you're going to hit the stick, just move the stick back a bit because we're going to keep raising and lowering the right leg. Okay, good. Drawing the leg towards the stick to try and encourage a bit more flexibility of the hamstring, so the back of the leg. Try and encourage that range of movement, but please don't hit your shin on the stick. There's a progression here. As you lower your leg down, reach the stick back overhead. And then you're just bringing the leg and the stick towards each other. So there's lots of control here, lots of focus. Keep the left foot pressed gently towards the floor to stabilise the left hip so your knee isn't wobbling around everywhere. Also keep the rib cage relaxed and the pelvis still throughout. Let's give that knee a nice little squeeze, lengthen out the left leg, just enjoy that little stretch. And then you're just going to pop the right foot down, point the toes of the left foot, raise the stick up again. We're doing it all again on this side. So gently up with the left leg. Remember, move the stick back if you need to, but just start to raise and lower the left leg, feeling a bit of a stretch around the back of the leg. So dynamic flexibility of your hamstrings, but working your hip flexors, lots of hip mobility. Lovely. Remember, you can start to take the stick back as you lower the leg down. We must keep the body still. Keep the spine still, keep the pelvis still, and relax the rib cage. Exhale, kick. Inhale, lower. Well done. Just a few more. Remember, keep the right knee still by pressing the right foot gently towards the floor. Well done. And then give that knee a squeeze. Lengthen out the right leg so that you get the best from the stretch. Try and relax the hips, give them some relief. Breathe normally and deeply. Fab. Let's pop the feet down, bring the knees and feet together. And then you're just going to reach up with the stick. So again, holding it like a weightlifter. Just lower your knees to the floor on the left now. Just gonna have a nice little stretch. Hold it there and then reach overhead with the stick. So really stretching out the right side of the body into the hips. Bring the stick back up, gently roll through center to take the knees to the right and then reach back with the stick. Stretch out the left side of the body. Use your core as you roll the knees through center to the other side. Okay, so over to the left again. Now take the stick back. Hold it there. Just for a few seconds, reach up with the stick. Roll through center, knees to the right. And then overhead with the stick again. Lovely. Gently bring the stick back up, square up the back of the pelvis, pop the stick behind your knees and give the knees a squeeze. Circle them around and we're going to come to seated using rolling like a ball. So draw the stick towards you, lift the back of the head and the shoulders and rock up to seated. And just pop the stick to the side. We're just going to have a little bit of a stretch now. So if you come into all fours, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, you're just going to slide the left knee towards the left hand, cross the left foot over the right knee and slide the right leg back behind you. So you'll start to feel a stretch around the left hip and the glute. Now you can stay up on your hands or you can come down onto your elbows and relax into it. It's a really nice stretch for the hips and the glutes. Just hold that there for a few seconds before we pop our hands underneath the shoulders, tuck your toes under at the back, bring yourselves back to all fours, slide the right knee in, cross the right foot over the left knee and slide the left leg back. So again, you can stay on your hands or you can come down onto your elbows. It's up to you. But remember, just relax into that lovely stretch. We're going to hold it just for a few seconds. And then we'll come back onto the hands, tuck the toes under at the back, and help yourself to just come up into a seated position now. So if you just start with your legs out in front of you, just pop your hands down sort of behind your back here and take the right ankle, place it over the left knee. Gently bend the left knee, bringing the heel towards you, and press your hands into the floor, lifting the breastbone. So we've got a nice lengthened spine. Again, we're stretching out the hips and the glutes. You'll feel it on the right side. Let's swap sides. So left ankle over the right knee, slowly draw the right heel in, press the floor away from you and lift the breastbone. Just relax that there then. We're going to do hip flexors next. So if you bring yourselves to all fours. Okay, now just take your left foot, place it between your hands, lean into that front knee and lengthen out the right leg behind you, just sinking your pelvis down. Place your hands on your thigh just ahead of the knee. Try and be nice and tall with your spine. Draw your navel in and you'll feel the stretch around the top of the right thigh towards the pelvis. Okay, we're just going to swap sides. So carefully bring your right foot forward between your hands. Lengthen out the left leg, sink the pelvis down, hands on the thigh just ahead of the knee joint, lengthen through the spine and draw your navel in. So engage your core and just hold it there for a moment or two before we come down with the hands and back to all fours and then to seated. And that takes us to the end of the routine, and I really hope you enjoyed that. Please give the video a like if you did, and I'll see you again soon.